Hey, good afternoon, fam. Good afternoon to everybody. Happy Sunday to everybody today. Happy Sunday. Hey, listen, I'm gonna try to give some folks a moment to get on this live because we're gonna talk about some real stuff today. We're gonna talk about some real stuff, and hopefully, we can help some folks today with the information, right? Hopefully, we can help some folks today with the information. Um, and people can actually put it to practice. And hopefully, we can answer some questions on this live for some folks today. So I'm going to give it a few and let some people jump on the live real quick. And then we kind of can go from there. All right. It's rain out here in Maryland. I'm not sure where you guys are at. Um, well, it's raining out here. It's supposed to snow later on today. So I think that's all over the East Coast, I believe. So, but yeah. Give it a few more minutes or so. Let some folks start to get in on this live, and then we kind of go from there and start to learn some stuff. See, I love Sundays. I love Sundays because I do a lot of my reading on Sundays, a lot of my education on Sundays, a lot of my um how can I put this, virtual learning on Sundays, right? Especially when it comes to the career that I'm in, right? Just getting more and more information, more and more education, so that way I can be able to help the consumer, out there, right? I do a lot of videos too on Sundays that I end up posting, throughout the week, based on information that I receive or just topics that I may want to talk about or I may want to share with you guys, right? Because most people, I've been in the industry now for, it'll be about 18 years in October of this year, I believe. And most people, because they're busy working, most people don't have the time to get the proper information when it comes to pre-planning and retirement. Okay, most people are busy making money, trying to take care of their family, and before you know it, time have gone by, time have passed. But with this new era that we're in, with live streaming and videos that we can post every single day, being in the industry as a financial professional, um, we hope that people can get the information that they need, right? A lot of people, and what we're going to talk about today is really about retirement. That's what today is about. It's about retirement and how a lot of people will not be able to retire. And that's a scary thought process to have, knowing that never how you doing, what's for dinner. You'll always eat. um let me see. You want to come on camera, Nefer? I think this might be, something that you may want to inquire about. Let me know if you want to come on camera and we can have a conversation. But tonight's topic, or you can just, message in the chat, any question that you may have. But tonight's topic is about the retirement meltdown. And my objective for today is to help as much people as I can with the information that I know. based on, what I do for a living, right? One of the things with people is a lot of people like to get information, right? A lot of people like to get information, but most people that we find don't use the information. They don't put the information to practice. This is some of the reason why a lot of people are not going to be able to retire. As a matter of fact, the reason for this live today is a couple of days ago, I was watching, and it was the most, I won't say demoralizing or depressing content that I saw. It was almost like an hour long of people in their 60s talking about how they're not going to be able to retire. And this is across the board, all races. So it's not like one specific group of people. This is the white community, the black community, you know. Now I will say I don't believe I saw an Asian person on that content. I'll go back and watch it just so, you know, for me, just to make sure. But I don't believe I saw any Asian person, but I saw white people, I saw black people, I saw Hispanic people on that content. Now, Asians, they're very disciplined with their money. That's one thing I will say. They are very disciplined with their money. But the content that I saw was about people in their 60s who are coming to terms with the fact that they're going to have to work forever. And, to me, I'm like, even though if you're in your 60s, there's still time to make adjustment. Because personally, and if you're watching the chat right now, if you're on live right now, let me know. Right? I want you to message in the chat. Do you see yourself working forever? Do you see yourself working? Is this something that you're willing to do? Have you come to terms with the fact that, hey, I'm just gonna have to work forever? Now, as I was watching that video, in my mind, I'm like, more than half of those people are gonna be in for a rude awakening. And what do I mean by that? You might say that you're going to work forever because you don't have any money saved up. But if your body can't go much longer, what do you do at that point? If your body cannot go anymore, what do you do? So you don't have any money saved up, but you're telling yourself that you're going to work forever. So, I think most of the time when people say that, I think they don't want to implement the discipline that it takes to be able to put the money away so that way they don't have to work forever, because working forever is not really your choice. You can say it, but ultimately your body is going to be the deciding factor. I've been around for about 18 years now. Literally, just the past year and a half alone, I'm meeting, especially a bunch of nurses. I'm meeting a bunch of people who are nurses who are telling me, Maxwell, I need you to put together for me a 7-year game plan because I cannot do this any longer. And these are people who are like 55, 56, 59 years old. This is recent. So maybe when they were in their 30s and their 40s, they thought they could work forever. But as you age, ultimately, your body is going to be the deciding factor. All right. So listen, we're gonna just dive in right now. We're gonna dive in, and as you're watching the chat, if you have any questions, as to this topic, just message in the chat, and I'll respond as best as I can to you. Right. So what I want to do tonight is I want to have an adult conversation tonight. I want to have an adult conversation tonight. Because, back in the day, retirement used to look different. Some of you guys who follow me are either around my age or a little bit younger, right? So some of you guys are not accustomed to how retirement was back in the day. Back in the day, people, you had a husband who worked, so you had a one income household, right? You had an employer pension, so you work for that company for 30, 40 years, and then when you retire, they give you a pension, right? Healthcare was at the lowest cost back in the day, right? Healthcare was at the lowest cost. Housing was also extremely cheap. If you're in Maryland right now, I don't know where you. As a matter of fact, you're watching this live right now. Can you type in the chat where you're from? What city and state are you currently from right now? Right? Right now, the average house in Maryland is about $430,000. That's how much the average home is right now. Right? And the lifestyle pressure back in the day was less. There wasn't social media. Social media sometimes will have you feeling like you're failing in life. When you watch social media and you see all these people who are dining out, they're on yachts with their bikinis and their shorts, right? They're traveling all over the place. They're constantly at the airport with their luggage, strolling through the airport with their camera on videotaping, right? They have some fancy restaurant, right? They're wearing the Louis and the Gucci's, right? Chanel's, right? Social media will have you believing that you're living life wrong. So back then, the lifestyle pressure was less. Housing was less. Healthcare costs was less. Usually one spouse stay home and one spouse go to work. And then ultimately, that breadwinner retires and gets a pension, and everybody live their life happily ever after. Right? But today, that system is gone. Today, that system is gone, right? Some of you guys who follow me know I'm pretty much data driven. Most of the things I do, I got to figure out what is the data saying, right? The Federal Reserve reports millions of Americans have no retirement savings. A couple of years ago, AARP put out an article, and in that article, it says 30 to 40% of people between the age of 50 and 66 had zero retirement saving. Let me repeat that for you guys one more time so you guys know how real this is. 30 to 40% of people between the age of 50 and 66 had zero retirement savings. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows traditional pensions are rare in the private sector, which means companies don't offer those anymore. The Social Security Administration reports average benefits for Social Security is around $1,800 to $2,000 a month. Let me ask you a question, and this is the question I usually ask my client. If you don't start to implement some kind of retirement plan right now, right, and you're living off of $7,000 a month income from your job right now, and you don't have a retirement account, how will you survive in retirement? I want you to consider what I'm saying here. You're living off of almost 90 grand a year. Okay? You're making do with 90 grand a year. And you don't put anything away towards your old age. And now you're older, you have no retirement income, and the only thing that you can rely on is Social Security, which is about $1,800 to $2,000 a month before taxes. As you're watching this live right now, I want you guys to type in the chat if you can survive off of $1,800 to $2,000 a month in Social Security, with Social Security when you get older. Let me break this down for you guys as to what your needs are going to be, so that way you can understand what the numbers are. Most people in America, not all, but most, die with the mortgage, which means they still owe the bank money when they die. Most people carry a mortgage into their 70s. So which means when you retire, you may still have a mortgage. Even if you don't and you're renting, you still need to pay for your rent where you're staying. Even if you, let's say your house is paid off, you still got to pay taxes on that property every single year. Okay, no problem. Then you still got to eat. You still got to pay for electricity and utilities, right? Your healthcare costs, in most cases, is going to eat up a lot of your retirement. Healthcare usually hits your retirement at about 30%. Okay? I don't even see how there's any room for travel. So if you don't have any money saved up and you're only banking on Social Security at $1,800 to $2,000 a month, a lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening. This is why you're seeing this whole trend with people saying they're going to work forever or work until they die, which to me is a sad case. Who wants to work till they die? And it sounds good to say that when you're 30 years old, 40 years old, maybe even 50. But once you get up there in age and the body start to get weary, start to ache and stuff like that, those thought processes now go away. Now you're trying to figure out a way. You don't have any control as to how long you work. Your body does. And unless you're a fortune teller, I don't know how that can be a great plan. Right? If someone made $80,000 a year, for example, just a question. Someone in the chat, let me know. Just a question. If somebody made $80,000 a year, that's about $6,000 per month if you're working, right? Okay. Retirement typically would drop them down to $2,000. That's a 70% pay cut. In the chat again, how many of you could take a 70% pay cut and survive? If you're banking on Social Security, so you will bring it home 80, you will bring home $80,000 a year. And now you have to bank on $2,000 a month, which is $24,000 a year. How many of y'all can afford to live on $2,000? I don't care what part of the United States that you're in. You can be in Louisiana, you can be in Mississippi, you can be in the Midwest. Doesn't matter. It's going to be extremely difficult for you. Rent alone is going to eat that up. Okay? Let's say you don't have rent. Let's say you got mortgage. Let's say your mortgage is paid off. Right? Your mortgage paid off, but you still got taxes every single year on that property. The average male health insurance monthly is going to be about $700 to $800 a month for health insurance. Health insurance for a woman is about $500 to $600 a month. Then you still got to eat. You still got dental care. Right? Let's hope you're not on any meds that you might have to pay a partial out of pocket. If you don't have a car note, you're going to have car insurance. As I'm doing this live stream today, I want you guys to start thinking about what I'm saying here. Because it's starting to be an epidemic. And I personally believe a lot of this is lifestyle flex. A lot of this is lifestyle. The lifestyle that people want to live. They're making that the forefront or the most important instead of planning for their old age, like people back in the day did. Right? Retirement without income planning is unemployment at age 65. Retirement without income planning is unemployment at age 65. I want you guys to think about what I just said. Right? A lot of people are trying to live like the Joneses. A lot of people are trying to compete with their neighbors, their siblings, their co-workers, their friends. You got people buying houses bigger than what they can afford because they want to flex for other people. Most people, and I've been guilty of this too, when income rises, spending rises faster, especially in the field that I'm in and the way that we get paid with bonuses and commission and how fast some of this stuff comes. We tell ourselves, oh man, this is going to be a continuous thing. And you end up making more money and you end up putting yourself into a bigger problem. This is now officially our America. A lot of us finance depreciating assets. Right? Social media is the worst. Social media can be good. Don't get me wrong. Social media is good. But social media increases comparison pressure. There have been studies on this. If you look at most human behavior right now, everybody's trying to look like everybody. Everybody's trying to compete with everybody. Everybody's trying to drive what everybody's driving. Everybody's trying to travel where everybody's traveling to. Everybody's trying to eat where everybody's eating at. Everybody is trying to compete with everybody. right? The reason why most people would not be able to retire. Hey Sylvie, how you doing? Welcome to the live. Hey, I want you to chime in on this, right? I want to get your thoughts on this. Why do you believe most people cannot retire? Because do you mind if I bring you on, Sylvie? Let me see. Perfect. Sylvie, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How's your Sunday going?
Oh, good. Just cleaning around the house.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen. So the topic today is about the retirement meltdown because I was watching a content the other day. It was about 45 minutes long about people um who are 60 plus and have zero retirement savings, and they've come to terms with the fact that they may have to work forever. And it was a scary to me for people to have to say to themselves, I'm going to work till I'm 80 or 90, because most of us don't really know how long we have. But you tell me. So I don't know, you in the industry, have you ever heard anybody say that to you? And and I typically tell a client, like, that's not that's not up to you. If your body says I can't do it anymore, what do you do then? So what's your
Okay.
thoughts? What's your thought? What do you think?
So, to answer your question directly, to me, the first reason why people find themselves working to the age of 70, of 80, 85, 90 is because they fail to plan.
Facts.
Failing to plan is already planning to fail. So now, when we talk of they fail to plan, how could they plan? You need to plan with the right information. When you do not have the right information, you cannot plan perfectly. Now, the reason why a lot of people and they are still there are a lot of people still working on that same path is that cost of living is constantly increasing. There's a high probability of taxes going to be higher in the future. People are seriously and busy putting in all their monies in variable accounts. They haven't done anything to see how they can plan and protect part of their retirement in a protected bucket
Mm-hmm.
that they are sure that even in the future, no matter what happens, they are ready. And another thing why they also feel is that they do not even have the knowledge to put their money in account that grows on compound interest that will
Well,
enable them to have enough to grow to retire with.
so let me
So
ask you
now,
let me ask you a question real quick though, because I like where you're going with that. So that is the investment side. That is the option side, right? That they have, right? But
yes,
but but I think so before you got on, I was talking about a lot of the problem I believe that people are having right now in America is we are living right now in a nation of lifestyle and flexing. We're living
of
in a
course.
nation of social media where everybody, okay, Sylvie just bought a new BMW. Now Max will go out and buy a new BMW like Sylvie. Or Johnny just moved into this upper echelon neighborhood. Now, I go do the same thing too, right? Or I'm minding my business one I'm minding my business at night. I'm scrolling through IG, and I see Sylvia on a yacht with her friends having a good time, and I feel like I'm worthless.
Right.
So to me, it's like outside of the, because what you're saying is actually true. A lot of people don't have great strategy or plan, right? But I believe that before we can get to that side, to me, I personally think a lot of it is addressing, some of the problem. Like, for example, I was doing some research, right? And it was showing, like, so right now the average car note is about $800. That's the average car note. The average monthly beauty maintenance, and I think this part might be a little, well, at least in the black community, this part might be a little bit wrong. Is $300 monthly. I'm like, that might be a little bit off because between pedicure and manicure a month, that's $300 right there. We ain't even gonna talk about getting the hair done, getting the makeup, all that stuff, right? And then you're gonna throw on, like, for example, your yearly subscriptions, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, whatever, HBO Max, all these things. They're saying that's about $1,200 a year. And this right here is the most surprising part to me. I didn't know it was this much. $6,000 a year on the average on travel. I'm like, if you threw $6,000 into an IUL a year, you know where you'll be at 20 years from now? $6,000 a year on travel. So exactly. Exactly. So as I'm watching these people, and I'm like, a lot of it is their priority, what they because a lot of people, it doesn't hit them until, because I've been around for 18 years, and I'm dealing with people now who are like in their 50s and 60s, and now they're tired. Now they're nervous. Now they're sick. See, when you're 20, 30 years old, 40 years old, you can talk a good game. Oh, I'll work forever. Oh, I still got time. And all of a sudden, time catches up with you quicker than you thought. And now you don't have anything. And I mentioned one reason why I do these lives is hopefully to help people. I did a live last year. A gentleman was on that live, and he was like, "Man, you're talking about me right now." Now, obviously, you get on the live and people say stuff like that, and I just said, "Well, okay, we'll see what you do." He immediately called me that Monday and came to my office that Tuesday, and we ended up putting a plan together for him. So this is a person who went from saving $0 all these years, and now saving about $700 a month. Because guess what? He's in his upper 50s, and it's becoming real now, and he got to make a decision.
Wow.
Yeah, So but I like where you were going. So I'll allow you to continue because I believe people do need to understand this and need to hear this because it is starting to become an epidemic.
Okay. Yeah. So support what you just said, right? When you know, God has blessed me in such a way that I've met with Native Americans. When I talk of Native American, Black Americans from America and immigrants. So why? Because when I got into this country, I started from braiding hair, braiding, braid a lot of women, and from there I established a lot of relationship with a lot of Black American women. And before I left, I went into the finance. I did IT. I was working like in the back end of a bank of a credit union. From there, that's where I started reading about 401ks, and it was not making sense to me. So now, one thing that I came to realize with us, the middle class, and not us, because I'm not included anymore. What is very no, yeah, I'm not. What the middle class has a lot of misplaced priorities. Someone from the middle class is struggling to make some little dollars. The first thing they think about is do makeup. Buy makeup a lot expensive, do hair for $300, $500. All they think about it, I need to take travel and all this. But they're not even sure of what they're gonna retire on. They are hoping, I don't know what they are hoping on. I spoke to some of them. I told them, somebody will come to my house. I said, you are very young. Instead of you to come and give me $300, $350, $400 for a braid, do braids for $100. They don't say it should not look good. You can do a braid for $100, 150, 200, and save the rest. I always tell them this. It's not because I want your money. It's not all about the money, but you need to save for your future. And guess what? One of them told me, Miss Sivi, I really like what you say, but I'm sorry. Right now, I'm still hot. That's what she said. I think when I'm down, when I'm calm, I'll come back to you. That's what she said to me, right? So I laughed. So and then you see from the immigrants community, And what people do, and I talk to them, I tell them, somebody will have like 2 IT jobs, they go and get a big house. They go get Louis Vuitton. All these things to impress people. You're living your life to impress some other people.
Yep.
So I was talking to somebody, I said, why don't you, if you have 2 IT jobs, why don't you look for a comfortable home, sizable that's comfortable enough for you, not don't be extravagant. See, make sure that you instead pay faster and get done with it. Instead of getting a big house for 800,000, house of 1 million, and at the end of the day you lose your job and everything is down. So that's the first thing. I think this is coming from a place where we don't have any plan. I think if you have a plan, you will then have to know that, okay, if I have $1,000 from my account every month, I should make sure that no matter what, I should save 250 getting to my retirement. How many middle class? Because at the end of the day, money is not taught in class. It's taught at home. How many of the middle class will sit their children and say to them, save this amount of money? There was a Black American that came to my house and left the house. I asked her, I said, why did you leave your parents' house? Because of freedom? Now you are clouded with trying to keep up with bills, with rent, with that, with school. Meanwhile, you could have sat and saved that money towards your retirement.
Yep.
We have a lot of misplaced priorities. I think this is all because we don't have the plans already. I have a 17 years old. I told him I did not have to ask for his opinion. I went ahead, I opened the account, an IUL for him. I said, when I need $200 from you every month, that is I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you that is what I need from you every month.
I like that.
So, because I already do that, so I just want to do that as an extra because I do that for them. That is my own sacrifice. I'm sacrificing for the future. But I want him to know that he needs to save towards his retirement. I think if each parent needs to sit their children in the house, if they have the knowledge, and tell them that, okay, tomorrow is not secure. We don't even know what may happen tomorrow. We might fall sick on the way. Let's get this thing together. Let's get this structured. They will all make sure they instill into the children so they will save the money, that the part of the money they are working towards their retirement. But they don't do that. And that is why you see the little that they get from the 401ks, some of them depend on social security benefits. At the end of the day, they see that it's not making anything, it's making no sense.
Yep.
And they have to go back to work.
Yep.
Because guess what? Cost of living keep increasing. There is no way cost of living will reduce. As I had a meeting yesterday, remember we spoke on the phone?
Yeah.
The person that had the meeting yesterday, she said to me, she said, I did not, when I had my money in my 401k, because she had some money in the we were talking of rolling it over to an annuity. She said to me, she did not take out them because she is 67. So I told her, since you are 67, if you are insurable, you can take out the taxes right now. You can take out the money from your because it's not much money anyway. It's 28,000, just 28,000. I said you can take out the money, then you pay the taxes now. At least now it's a little bit
low.
Down.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to increase in the future.
Right.
You pay the 20%. Get that money and put in an IUL. It's going to be better.
Right.
So I'm trying to structure the IUL in such a way that 28,000 will finance the IUL for at least 2 years, so that he'll prepare herself to continue putting in after 2 years. So she said to me, I did not take that money out because I was hoping taxes would decrease in the future. I was like, oh my goodness, why? So she is hoping that taxes will decrease in the future.
Listen, so what? Let me again. I've been around for so long that here's what I'm realizing. Here's what I'm realizing. A lot of people are protecting their image more than their income.
Yeah.
Let me say that one more time so some people can catch that. A lot of people are protecting their image more than their income. Listen, I've dated women who like their paycheck. I'm sharing a story with you guys. I was a little bit younger then, and I dated this young lady, and I remember we was going to Miami. So mind you, this was like in our 20s, right? She ordered some hair from China. I guess this synthetic hair that was like $500, right? So let's go back almost 20 years ago. How much do you think $500 was worth back then? It was a lot of money. And she didn't understand why I was upset. And I'm like, hold up. That's just for the hair. We ain't even gonna talk about her getting it done. So in my mind, I'm like, why do you want to walk around like you're Beyonce and you don't have Beyonce money? It's like, now let me tell you, when she got it done, it looked amazing. But I was for that 5 days while I was there, every time I looked at her, I was mad, I was upset. I was upset because I looked at it like, man, listen, like what, like, and to me, you know, I said it before on one content, and some people got mad at me. I believe moving forward, if you're looking into a serious relationship with somebody, you gotta find out how financially sound they are. Because the number one reason for divorces is usually money, right? So you gotta find out who you're dealing with. Is this person gonna ransack the family savings? Is this person gonna be responsible to make sure, hey, when we both get old, that we both have income, or this person just wanna look their best to impress people right now? You understand? So I just think that it's a lot of things like going on right now, you know, in America that I just think that a lot of people, and maybe because you and I are in the industry, so we see it every day, right? And people don't see it every day. A lot of people are hurting. I'm dealing with people who are in their late 50s, their 60s that have $0. So before you got on, I talked about AARP. They did an article a year and some ago, right about November of 2024, I believe. And in that article, it stated that 30 to 40% of people between the age of 50 and 66 have zero retirement savings. So I want you to think about that for a second. You are 60 years old, 66 years old, and you have zero money. Like in my mind, that has to be a scary situation to be in. I don't know what you would do at that point in your life if you don't have any money at that. To me, mama, what were you doing for 40 years? Because, okay, let's say you leave school at 20, 22, whatever, right? Let's say you leave college at 24, for example, or you start working your real job at 24. So you graduate at 22 and 2 years to get accustomed to the work life. So now you're 24 years old. What were you doing with 24 years of your life that you have $0? Like, so I do these lives to not to judge people, but hopefully to help some people. Because again, I've had some people that see my video and give me a call off of YouTube or off of IG or whatever, and say, hey, I need to talk to you. So it is helping some people, but a lot of it though is, I believe a lot of people just want to impress. And to be transparent, I'm guilty of that. But let me say, I've never done things to impress people. I've purchased things that I probably shouldn't have purchased because I wanted it. You understand? So at the end of the day, it's like, well, could I have been smarter about that choice? Yes. You know what I'm saying? So to me, in a way, I'm talking from experience. Okay, did you need that Mercedes right now? Did you need 2 or 3 cars at the same time? No, you probably didn't. Okay. Did you need to go to Hawaii twice a year? No, I probably didn't. You understand? So as you learning, you start to make adjustment. Even so, 4 years ago, I tell people, because they're wondering why, I say, okay, I invest 30 to 35% of my income.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, how do you do that? I was like, I force myself to. You know why? Because I got to a point where I was 45 years old, and I'm like, hold up. I'm about to be like the same people who I'm trying to help every day. No, real talk. Like, I was saving the bare minimum because I wanted to have like a lifestyle. I like traveling. I like going out. I like to look good. And I was like, hold on. So I'm doing the math. I'm like, yeah, this is not working out. So I had to force myself exactly to put away 35% of what I make. And people say, well, how are you able to do that? I cut back on things that are not necessary no more. Okay? So it's just, to me, like it's a choice that I think a lot of people just don't want to make, because to do what I'm saying, you're gonna have to do away with the things that you like. That's
Right.
all. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And as we go further into this, right? And I always tell people, like, okay, well, how do you plan for the unexpected? So this is where what you were saying earlier comes in reference to
Yeah.
what kind of product are you in? Okay, like for example, let's use for example a assisted living facility, right? I don't know how much it is out there in Texas, but I know in Maryland it's about 115 grand a year for assisted living, right? Well, if you don't have 400 grand in the bank saved up somewhere, that if that was to happen, you be able to take care of yourself for 2-3 years or so. How are you going to handle that? Well, you will have to get some kind of financial product, and most people don't even have that. You understand? So, and when we talk about financial product, we talk about like long-term care or life insurance with living benefits, things like that. And most people don't even have that. And I've been to homes where I pull up, big old house, okay, or Audi in the front, or Porsche in the front, right? And I talk to them about stuff like this, okay, or Chanel bag on the dining room table, right? Right? And I'm talking to them about this stuff, whatever, like that. And I've literally had the husband and wife say, "Oh, yeah, we enjoy our career and we plan on working, until we die." And you know what? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with working until you die, right? But again, that's not up to you. If your body says no, ma'am, no, sir, there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. And that's where these products come into play. The product is like a safety net. It's a safety net for if life doesn't go the way you plan. Life insurance is if something happens to me sooner than later. And 48% of the country don't have life insurance, which is crazy, right? Give me a second, guys. Perfect. So as we talk more and more about this, I don't at this point I don't so we're in 2026, and I know some people tell me, oh, some of these people don't know or they don't have the information. And maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I'm like, okay, if this was 2000, 1990 something, whatever, I may agree with that. But I don't know if I agree with that in 2026, because this is the massive information age that we're in right now. And if a person tell me they didn't know about life insurance or why it's needed, if a person tell me they didn't know about long-term care, if the person tell me, oh, they didn't know they need to save for retirement, I don't know if I can sit here and 100% believe that most of these people are lacking information. I think what it is, they're lacking discipline. Okay, they're lacking a situation where, okay, if I start to invest in this thing, it would take away from my happy hour. It would take away from my brunch. It would take away from my $6,000 a year travel expenses. So I don't know. And I think a lot of people are gonna end up putting their children in a bad spot. I think a lot of people are gonna end up putting their children in a bad spot, especially when you have kind-hearted and wonderful children who loves you and don't want to see mom or dad suffering. A lot of children are gonna take away from them and their family to take care of mom and dad, which to me I think is wrong. You understand? Because now you're taking away from that person building for their family. Yeah, I remember one time some guy, I think is from Nigeria. Um, hey, what's up, boss? No cash value guy. How you doing today? Happy Sunday. I remember some guy he got real upset at me. He said, "Oh, it's your job to take care of your parents." That's not that's not true. I mean, the guy really got upset. Yes, if your parents cannot take care of themselves, you should come in and help them. But it's also your parents' job to prepare themselves for their old age. And it's actually your parents' job to make sure that their children are okay until the parents leave out of this planet. So if you're watching this and you have a child, it's not your child's job to take care of you. It is your job to make sure that that child is going to be okay and your grandchild are going to be okay until you leave this planet, which means that the children can come to them in a time of need, which means their grandchildren can come to them in a time of need. It is not you as a whole grown adult parent going to your children. That's not the way it's supposed to be. The Bible specifically says it. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children. Okay? It says it. So, but for some reason, and I'm going to stay on our community for a little bit. For some reason within our community, we look at our children as a paycheck or our children as our provider. When I get old, I had a client told me that, oh, my children will take care of me. I don't need life insurance. Okay. 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 My children would take care of me. I remember one day, I believe that was a couple of years ago, where I had a client and the children sat into the interview and they said, "Oh, mom, you don't need this. It's too expensive. If something happens to you, we'll all chip in and we'll take care of it." And this is real talk. This is a real story. A couple of years later, the daughter called me. "Oh, hey, Mr. Maxwell, that plan you was doing for my mom, or you offered my mom. Do you know if she ever took it?" I'm like, "No, you guys say you got her covered." And she's like, "Oh, okay." I said, "What's going on?" "Yeah, my mom, she's not well, and the money that it's going to take for her care, I'm kind of struggling right now. I just had a baby." And I'm sitting back like this, man, what? What? And any parent who believe in America right now with the way the economy is, who believe that their children is going to take care of them. And here's the deal. I'm not saying the kids don't want to. Don't nobody get me. I'm not saying the children don't want to take care of their parent. I'm saying sometimes it might be a situation where it's difficult because they have their struggles too. They have their family also to take care of. So a lot of our community, because some of y'all know I'm West African, okay? They throw parties every weekend, okay? The amount of money they spend on liquor, on food, okay? They usually drive big cars, they live in big homes, but they have no retirement savings, they have no life insurance, they have no long-term care, nothing, which to me is wild. It's wild. When you sit down and you have a conversation with them about it, in most cases, they're like, "Oh, we'll get back to you." Or they're like, "Oh, we're good, we're not interested." Right? Right? You know, and when you get married, for example, and you're in that lovey-dovey stage, right? And you don't talk about what's important, like bills and finances and expenses. And then the breadwinner happened to pass away. a lot of things happen to your family at that moment. Right? I know this one guy. He's a big time real estate guy, right? He's a client of mine. And um we did a policy for him, and he owned multiple properties all across town, right? He owned multiple property all across town. And for a minute, it took a minute to do a policy for him until I said to him, let me ask you a question. You owe the bank well over $2 million because you got all this real estate investment and stuff like that, right? And you got renters and stuff like that. Does your wife know how to do what you do? He was like, no. He was like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay. You can fix stuff that's wrong with the property. You can deal with the renters. You can get the landscaper to come out and do all that. Does your wife know how to do all this stuff? He was like, no. I was okay. So if something happens to you, is she gonna be able to find the money, right? Give me a second, guys. If something happens to you, can she be able to maintain all this, or will she be able to find the money to be able to pay all these expenses for this property? He was like, no. I was like, that's where life insurance comes in. Because she can now take that money and either pay the property off, right? Okay, and probably hire a management team to help her maintain the properties. And that's how this gentleman, he was actually, well, he actually is my biggest client so far. Because when we had that conversation, he didn't look at it that way. Because he's the one going out and hustling and working and building this thing for the family and the future and things like that. And a lot of people don't consider the fact that, hey, if something happens to me, will my spouse be able to maintain? Listen, I got story for days because I've been around anybody who's an advisor on this call or who's a professional on this, on this live. Please, I want you to type in the chat, I know where you're coming from, because I got story for days. I had a client in Vienna, Virginia. The husband, some kind of electrical engineering guy, making almost 300 grand a year. The spouse was a nurse. I believe she was making roughly somewhere around, let's say 70, 80, somewhere around there a year. But their mortgage was over $4,000 a month. 2 kids in private school. Big cars in the front of the house. And I spoke to him about doing a policy. And he said, oh, no, I'm good. I don't need that, whatever. Okay, no problem. I left. Fast forward a couple of years later, the gentleman passed away. 6 months later, they had to give it to their house because the wife can't afford a $4,000 mortgage. They also had to move from Vienna because Vienna is expensive. If you're from the DMV, you know what I mean. Which means the kids can't go to those private schools that they had them going to anymore. Right? So these are things that a lot of people are just living life. It's almost like they don't want to know. It's like they're walking around like this. It's like, like I don't want to know. I don't want to know, which to me is crazy. Like every day I wake up and I wonder how can you not be, if you know your finances is not in order, if you know you have no long-term plan, how can you wake up every day and go to sleep every day in some form of peaceful format? Like, I need someone to teach me how to do that. I need you to teach me how to be able to go to sleep at night and be at peace if I know I have children, I have spouse, I have a properties, right? And I don't have any leverage or anything that if something was to happen, these people will be okay. I need someone to teach me how to sleep at night like that. Because this is what a lot of people are doing. They're sleeping at night. It's almost like they don't care. It's like it's I don't care what happens. Like so you if you're on this live right now, I want you to, on the chat, let me know how you do it. Right? I want to spend a moment on a particular group of people real quickly, right? And I'm going to say this up front, right? And I hope nobody get offended, but I think this is information that these group of people should want to know, right? A few years ago, Fidelity put out an article, and in the article, it states that I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe over 50% of women who retire will be financially bankrupt 5 years later. I believe those are the numbers, right? If you're a woman and you retire, you'll be financially bankrupt 5 years later. And this was based on 401k balances, IRA balances, saving habits, which means how much they're putting away every single month. Okay. Who's dipping into it, who's not dipping into it. Okay. So these are all data. Like I said before, I'm data driven because data tells a story. Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie. And also, why is important? I actually believe is more important for women to save more. It's more important for women to have bigger life insurance than men. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one reason, the easiest reason, women will live longer. So just off the top, if you're going to live longer, won't you need more money? It's like that's all. If here's the deal, most men will live to 79, 81. Most women 85, 87. So which means if your husband passed at 80, you're going to be here without his income for another 7, 8 years. So logically speaking, wouldn't it make sense to save more than your husband? Because the likelihood that you might be here longer than him. Or option two, get your husband to get a bigger policy that will allow you to survive when he's not here. Number two reason, women earn less over lifetime of their career on the average. These are all datas. Okay? Also, career interruptions can impact retirement savings. Divorce rate after 50 is high for women. This is what the data says. Living longer means more years of spending. This is just pretty much logical. The longer you live, the more you're going to buy. It just is what it is. And that's for anybody. It doesn't matter. You live long, you're going to keep buying stuff. Also, more healthcare exposure. The longer you live, the likelihood you might have some kind of health situation. So they say that 30% to 40% of Americans will need some form of long-term care between the age of, I believe, 66 to 78. 30 to 40% of Americans will need some form of long-term care between the age of 66 to 78. So the longer you live, the likelihood that you're going to need some money for health care. Also, the longer you live, the more exposed you are to higher inflation, because inflation is going to continue to go up. Now, I want to address something. This is not me saying it. This is also coming from data, right? Then there's this lifestyle culture pressure. Okay? Appearance maintenance, nails, hair, makeup, bag, outfit. This is not me saying it. These are all data that you guys can look up. Travel expectations. Women travel more than men in America. Cruises, Dubai trips, Jamaica, the Caribbeans. The soft life narrative, which means spending, 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 and more spending. Now, this is not me telling you to cut your joy away. That's not what I'm saying here. This is about just funding your longevity. You can still have fun and still save responsibly. Right? You can still have some fun, but you cannot blow through all your money and be irresponsible and don't put money away. Again, you're watching this live. I need someone to tell me, how do you sleep at night knowing that you don't have any financial portfolio for your long term? You don't have anything for life insurance. If you pass away, your children are going to be okay, or your spouse. You don't have anything for long-term care, that if you fall sick and you need assisted living, you need a nurse aide. How do you sleep at night knowing that you don't have none of this stuff in place? And last but not least, how do you sleep at night knowing that you're aging every single day, but you don't have $1 toward retirement? I need to know. I need to know. Ladies, if you're watching this live right now, I have a question. If you live 10 years longer than your spouse, is your money structured to last? I had a client in Burtonsville, Maryland, I believe, a few years ago. Well, I'm sorry. The daughter was my client, but the parents were not. The father passed away, and the daughter calls me. Hey, Maxwell, I need you to go sit down with my mom because it looks like my dad didn't leave any life insurance. I was like, when I sat down with you, you told me your father and your parents are good. They have life insurance. He said, well, it seems like it didn't have like all of it was canceled or they lapsed or something like that. I was like, what? I went there. Policies sitting up this high, different companies, making phone calls, calling the company. Everyone, every policy lapsed, terminated, closed out, whatever. And I was like, no, this can't be right. There's got to be something out there. We ransacked that house. We even went to the bank and got his bank statement to see if there's any insurance coming out. Zero, nada, nothing. And the mom had no money. So now they're forced to sell this house that they grew up in. because mom can't afford to pay for it. And now mom got to move in with her children. I see over 300 clients a year. I'm in a lot of houses every single year. And I got stories for days. People don't understand how real this is out here. And I believe this is why people are living the way that they're living, in a nonchalant, don't care attitude, right? Let me touch on healthcare for a second, right? Healthcare inflation historically rise faster than general inflation. The cost of healthcare is astronomical. If if a couple retires at the age of 65, just so you guys know and you're clear about this, right? They may spend hundreds of thousands over retirement in healthcare. So with healthcare is going to be about 35% of your income. Healthcare, healthcare is going to be about 35% of your it's going to healthcare is going to eat into majority of your retirement savings if you have any, because most people don't plan for the health side. They only plan just for income, just for money to live off of. But they don't plan for, hey, God forbid something happens on the health side. I also have enough on that side to take care of it. According to federal health estimates, most senior will need some form of care. I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. Home care, assisted living, nursing home. Tapping into your 401k for healthcare, my God, the amount you got to pay in taxes. If you got a Roth IRA, for example, obviously there's no taxes, but it will shrink down your Roth dramatically. Okay? If you don't have that, now what do? You look to your house. I got equity here. Right? Then you might say, you know what? We'll get Medicare. But to get Medicare, you have to spend down your asset. I believe down to $2,000 to $3,000. So which means before Medicare can come in and help you, you literally have to be broke. Before Medicare can come in and help you, you literally have to be broke. You have to spend down all your money. If you rely on government assistance, your asset will need to be depleted first before they can come in and help you at all. Retirement accounts are not medical shields, right? And then in most cases, for the people that do have retirement accounts, in most cases, they have it in the wrong vehicle. Listen, I always say this, I'm not a gambler. I don't play those games. Like, I will go to Vegas with some friends. They got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 to spend at the machine or at the table. Not me. I don't play that. I take my little 50 bucks. If I win, great. If I don't, I'm out of there. It doesn't matter. I've literally seen friends spend their mortgage at the blackjack table. And then we come back home and their wives are pissed off at me and ask me why didn't I stop them? A grown person. I was like, listen, I spent my $50. That's it. You talk to your husband. You understand? So I don't gamble. Why am I saying this? Most people have their money in taxable accounts. Most people have their money in the market, which means if the market goes kaboom, there goes your life savings. Things like 401k, stocks, mutual funds, stuff like that, right? If the market drops early in your retirement and you're withdrawing income at the same time, your account may never recover. 2000, 2008. You understand? That wasn't too far ago. I literally in 2012 got referred a husband and wife couple over here in Maryland. One was a doctor, one was some kind of scientist, right? Between the both of them, in that 2008 crash, they lost over a combined $300,000 in their 401k. Right? Somebody say, hey, I want you to talk to Maxwell. He might have a different option for you. Right? Let me just paint the picture. You have 500 grand in your portfolio. The market drops 20%. You withdraw $40,000 for living expenses. Now you may have to shrink down how much you're able to withdraw because your value dropped down. Which now makes retirement a little bit uncomfortable. Okay? I personally believe once you head towards retirement, you should be looking to get into safe accounts. No other choice. You can be 60, 65 years old and still having your money exposed in the market. That's not smart. That's not smart. You can't do that. Right? So whatever retirement account that you have, it has to have a structure for income, risk management, tax diversification, health protection, and the legacy strategy. And there is one plan out there that can do that for you. We can, if you're interested in learning more about that particular type of plan, feel free to message me or text me at 443-208-5480. That's 443-208-5480. Okay, or you can go to my site, which is evolve at titanevolutiongroup.com. That's evolve at titanevolutiongroup.com. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that product right now doing this live. But a lot of my clients who are 50 plus, this is what they're going into. For number one reason, safety. I cannot afford to wake up one day, I'm trying to retire, and now 20-30% of my portfolio is gone. I'm going to close out with this. And I thank you guys for getting on this live. I really appreciate you guys. Your job will retire you. Your job will retire you. Your health may challenge you. Your bills will not stop. Are you preparing or are you pretending? I'm going to repeat that one more time for you guys, especially for the people in the back. Your job will retire you. Your health care may challenge you, and your bills will never, ever, ever stop. As long as you're living in the United States of America, you're going to always have bills. Are you preparing or are you pretending? Hope is not a retirement plan. Some people are hoping to win the lottery. Some people are hoping to find a rich husband. Okay. Okay. That is not a retirement plan. Structure is. If you're serious about retirement with dignity and not having to depend on your children, on the federal government, let's design something that protects you, your spouse, and your future together. All right? Message me, DM me, text me, and we can have a conversation and see how we can help you. Hey, guys, listen. Again, thanks for getting this live. I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful and blessed Sunday. Talk to y'all soon.